Next is list comprehensions or comprehensions in general. Before getting to that, let me just pose a new question and try to solve it. Let's assume that we have the following list of strings, right? So we have this list of strings. It's brand of course. Just print this. So these are brand of course. And you are asked to write a code that would go through this list and create another list which has the length of strings here, right? So the goal here is to output the length. How many characters do have? Length of the string is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? And this is 5 characters, 4. So the goal here is to loop through this word in L1 and basically get the length of word, and we want to create a new list. Let's call the other list L2. We have a new list. This is how you initiate an empty list. You want to get the length of each word in list L1, and let's append it. This is how to add new variables to a list, right? So from the list, we are familiar with the method append. Append would add this value to L2. So we could 11 because that's the length of automobiles. Then we have Honda, Benz, Suzuki, and Morris Garages. These are the length of the words that you're looking for, right? There is a better approach to handle this problem. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's a for loop. You loop through the list of strings and you get the length of each word, and then you just append the length to a new list called L2. There's nothing wrong with this. There's just a more functional approach or a nicer approach or a more Pythonic approach to do this, and that's called a list comprehension. So if you want to do that, that's how you do it. This is the so-called list comprehension. It provides an elegant way to create new lists. So this is how you do list comprehension. First of all, it's a much simpler code. It's just one line of code, and that's how you do it. You would say, give me the length of word for word in L1, right? So L1 is still this one, right? L1 has not changed. We can use that. For word in L1, give me the length of word and just put it in this format. Let me run this first to make sure that we are doing what we are planning to do. Yes, we do that. That's the so-called list comprehension. So technically and code-wise, you are doing the exact same thing you are doing in the block code of 58. You are looping through L1 and you are getting the length of each word, and you are adding that length to a new vector or a new list. But that's just a more Pythonic way or elegant way of doing stuff. The more you become familiar with Python, the more you are into doing more of list compression. Maybe at the very beginning, you prefer doing for loops. And again, it's a preference of each individual developer or data scientist. But the more you become familiar with the language, the more you are into writing list comprehensions. You may also want to iterate or loop through two lists simultaneously. So if the goal here is to simultaneously at the same time iterate through L1 and L2, what is the best thing you can do? So you want to basically loop through them and at the same time print automobiles 11, Honda 5, Benz 4. In order to do so, the best way is to use this type of for loop. So you said for I and j in the zip format of L1 and L2. So it would zip L1 and L2, and then you can print, let's say I. Let's just have them separated by j. Let's just print this. So you see, I get automobiles dash 11, Honda dash 5, and so on and so forth. So this is the most efficient way of looping through two lists or iterating through L1 and L2. If you want to, for every component of L1, print the corresponding component in L2. Next is to do dictionary comprehension. Let's assume that for the same L1, which we have automobiles, Honda, Benz, Suzuki, and Morris Garages, we want to create a dictionary consisting of element and length of each element from the above list. So the goal is to create a dictionary where the keys are the words in L1 and the values are the items, or the values or length that we have stored in L2. How would you do that? In order to do so, you can do something like this. So first of all, you do curly bracket because you want to create a dictionary of I colon len of I for I in, actually you can do it like, let's just do the same wording. Word as the key, len of word, length of word as the value for every word in L1. We don't even need to use L2 here. Let's see how does here. It looks like a dictionary where the keys are the values in L1 and the values, or basically the words in L1, and the values of this dictionary are just the length of each string or word. So this is one way of kind of creating dictionary or dictionary comprehension. It's very similar to the one that you had for list. The only difference here is that first of all you have key value, so you would just do key column value, and the rest is just the same. You just for loop through that with curly brackets. We can also do set comprehensions. So let's just go that with an example. The example is to write a program which takes a word as an input from user and returns the vowels from that word, right? So the goal here is to, and we want to do that through set comprehensions. Get a word from the user, right? Okay, so let's get that word from the user. Let's say I just put my name. Now let's continue with this word. The goal here is to return the vowels from that word. And we want to do that through set comprehension. There are lots of ways to do that. One way is to do set comprehensions. So we can kind of create this vowel set to be, I for char in word, if char in. Okay, so it could be a little complicated. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in a second. So we want to create a set, and as you know, set, or you can just do them with curly brackets. You have to loop through the characters in the word one at a time, but you don't want to add all of those characters to your set. You only want to pass the characters that are vowels, and vowels in English are A, E, I, O, U, right? That's how you do it. Let me just do it without list comprehensions first, so that you can kind of have a better picture, because sometimes list comprehensions could look complicated. So this is how you would do. You would say for char in word, if char in A, E, I, O, U, it's just only print those stuff, right? So you have a if. What would happen if you do? If you do that, it would print E and A for you. So that's in list comprehensions. We kind of put this if after the for loop, but this is simply telling you that loop through the word one character at a time. If the character is in A, E, I, O, U, which basically is you're checking a membership. You have a character and you want to make sure that the only characters that are added to this set are vowels, and vowels is like A, E, I, O, U. If I run this, let me just check the vowels. It has to be E and A like you have here. Yes. So you have created a set of vowels, and you see the sets, they don't have duplicates in curly bracket, but that's basically doing the same thing. You could have done a very similar thing with the for loop as well. You could have defined a set like vowels here to be an empty set, and each time is a character is a vowel. You could have vowels add char. Let's have the vowels. So that's another way. So block code 66 up here and 64 are doing the exact same thing. They are both creating a new set out of the actual word that are the vowels in that. This is just simply, I think, like me personally, starting from Python coding, that was more comprehensible to me. But ironically, these are set comprehensions. But depending on how you would kind of comprehend those stuff, one may be more trivial or understandable than the other. But this is trying to go one character at a time, check if a character exists in this string, and these are just, you have put all the vowels as a string, so you check the membership. If that satisfies this condition, you are going to add that character to your set. You have defined a set. This is just doing the same thing through the so-called set comprehensions. So with that, we have covered all the comprehensions. As mentioned, they're just a fancy way or a more elegant way of creating new lists, dictionaries, or sets. They are simpler in terms of the line of code that you would write, but they are just doing the exact same thing you would have done with for loops and if in different lines, as we've shown numerous examples. And now it's time to introduce functions in